الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيد الخلق والشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن اتبعه بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ومن أحسن قولا ممن دعا إلى الله وعمل صالحا وقال إنني من المسلمين. Subhanallah. The largest Muslim nation, independently Muslim nation in the world today is the nation of Indonesia, about 250 million Muslims. Anyone knows the battle that's supposed to be a great battle through which the largest Muslim population on the face of the planet became Muslim? Anyone knows that battle? There's none. Barakallahu feekum. So how is it that 250 million people, 250 million people become Muslim without a fight, without people, haters of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and hater of righteousness, standing up to the effort to convert all these people to Islam? That was, subhanallah, done not even by scholars. So how is it no matter those scholars made the biggest Muslim country in the world Muslim? There were 4 Muslim merchants doing their business. How? They went in the country, they got their merchandise, like every time, and to the shock of the Indonesians, the Muslim merchants did something that they never seen in their whole entire life. What is it? They started to tell them what was wrong with the merchandise before they told them the price of the merchandise, before they quoted them any prices. There's a hole in this piece of textile, there's something wrong with the leg of that horse, and so on and so forth. They sold what they had to sell, and then the people were fascinated by them. We never seen anything like that. Your demeanor, your cleanliness, and your brutal honesty. What is that? Here's the meaning of the verse that we just recited. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, what is better than the words of da'wah for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that is associated with a righteous deed? And then what is the continuation? I believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I'm doing righteously, subhanallah, I'm excellent in my manners. وَقَالَ إِنَّنِي مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ, and associated that with Islam. The merchants did not say that we're that honest because we have something with honesty or we come from a family of honest people. No, they said this excellence that you guys are fascinated with, this is called Islam. The people getting the benefit of the righteousness and amal salih of these people says we want that benefit to us. We want to benefit ourselves, we want to be like you. So they taught him the deen. And when they taught him the deen, they didn't teach him the deen as I call it, the deen of the banners. We carry slogans over our head, you should do this, this and that, and it's just but theories. They taught him the deen like Prophet Muhammad taught the companions, the deen, not of the banners, but the deen of the manners. And the Indonesians have learned. And then when they went out there, they went out there not talking at people, not preaching at people, but dealing with people righteously, justly, with amal salih, like Prophet Muhammad had taught the early Muslims. And the response to that was exactly like their response to the early Muslim merchants. They said, we want to be like that. Today, and actually this is the core essence of what benefit, what reward, what profit that we can get out of doing exactly the same thing. The 250 million Indonesians, every single time one of them bows to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, every single time one of them make fasting or do something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward for, these two merchants get a similar reward. الدال على الخير, as per the correct hadith of Sahih al-Bukhari, hadith Abu Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu marfu'an, الدال على الخير كفاعل, one who points and guides to a righteous deed gets the reward like the one who does that thing. When Prophet Muhammad was asked about his ba'tha, why he was sent to mankind, his answer was simple. إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ in one sentence is telling you that his struggle, his battle, his revealing of the Quran, his battles, his found in the Muslim state, all the miraculous achievements and struggle and endeavors of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ over 23 years were all about completing and perfecting the best of all manners. This is our deen. As a matter of fact, the very well-known hadith that we all heard so many times, and sometimes maybe we do not pay attention to a very critical word in that hadith. What is the hadith? بُنِيَ الْإِسْلَامُ عَلَى خَمْسٍ, and the pillars of Islam. The shahada, the fasting, the salah, the zakah, and hajj al-bayti liman istata'a ilayhi sabila. What is the critical word that a lot of people miss? It's the very first word, بُنِيَ. These are the fundamentals, these are the pillars of the deen, but the building itself is your manners. Nobody digs a hole in the ground, put concrete and steel, level it to the ground and walks away. That's insanity. And you cannot have your deen without founding the deen on these pillars. But once you've founded the pillars of these 5 pillars, what you are building, what you spend all your life doing, is building your building of the Islamic manners, of the righteous deeds, sincerely for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, what benefit do I have in my workplace if I express and act and deal with people with my manners? There are 2 things. First of all, as my good brother Sheikh Saeed had deliberately said it, the great verse, كُنْتُمْ خَيْرَ أُمَّةٍ أُخْرِجَتْ لِلنَّاسِ. And we need to pay attention to the accuracy of the Arabic language. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not say, كُنْتُمْ خَيْرَ أُمَّةٍ أُخْرِجَتْ فِي النَّاسِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not say, كُنْتُمْ خَيْرَ أُمَّةٍ أُخْرِجَتْ مِنَ النَّاسِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, كُنْتُمْ خَيْرَ أُمَّةٍ أُخْرِجَتْ لِلنَّاسِ, for the benefit of people. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described the Muslim nation, the righteous nation, what was the first feature? Logically, if you ask anyone, if you put the features of the Muslim nation that will make us the best nation that was brought out to the benefit of mankind, the first thing would be, logically, that we believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No, for that feature, for that preference, for that excellence, the first thing was our ethical standard. تَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَتَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ وَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ. Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahy al Munkar is the activism of Islam. So my preference as a Muslim, my preference as a nation, comes directly and is related by how I deal with people. So that is the first thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described this nation with before even their belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second most important thing is that if you ask the majority of scholars about a Muslim who fears Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and carries the responsibility of a family, there's no justification whatsoever for me to take my Islam and my deen and my family and put it in a land that fahisha and abomination is prevalent and it's not ruled by the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala except for one justification. What is that justification? That I make da'wah for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the justification for us to be here in America or any country that is not predominantly Muslim is that we do da'wah for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now when I go to my workplace, subhanallah, I have double the opportunity. First of all, I have non-Muslims, I have co-workers, I have colleagues, I have customers, I have clients, that I have a chance through the normal workday to interact with them. And what is the opportunity? Is the opportunity that I preach them, judge them, tell them what's wrong with their behavior and what kind of sin and haram that they are immersed in? No. The opportunity is to show them my manners, practically, directly, or indirectly. SubhanAllah, a lot of people, I don't know if you're familiar with our endeavors. I have a class for the past probably 7 or 8 years. We have a class for people who accepted Islam, and every week we answer their questions, we teach them the deen, and we try to do it gradually, like my brother Sheikh Saeed have taught us the opposite side of not doing it that way. And I do a lot of da'wah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed me with His blessing that a lot of people accept Islam through my humble self. But I always do this. I always ask people, so I can learn for myself when I invite people to Islam. What was it that made you become a Muslim? I want to learn. Wallahi, over 85%. They will give you the two reasons. The first reason always why I got interested to even learn about Islam to begin with, regardless I would accept Islam or not. And then the second reason is why when I learned about Islam, when I read about Islam, I became a Muslim. Overwhelmingly, 85% of them even being interested in Islam is that a co-worker or a colleague, his behavior, his manners, subhanAllah, the way he acted was so different than everyone else. They don't backbite, they're trustworthy, they're polite, they're conservative, and that attracted me. So I went to them and I asked them, what is this? Why are you that different? I like that difference. And then they told me, well, this is Islam, this is my religion. And subhanAllah, overwhelmingly, all the people that accepted Islam because of a co-worker, believe it or not, that co-worker is not a scholar, is not a sheikh, is not an imam, is not a preacher, is not any of this. He's exactly like you, like me, like anyone else. And all they did, they just went to the mosque, went to any place, give me some books, I have some money. Somebody was interested in Islam, they handed the book and they read. And when they read, subhanAllah, comes the tremendous advantage that any one of us, inshallah, will have when he actually gets someone interested in Islam. Almost 90% of them will tell you the reason that I became a Muslim is because it made sense to me. It matched my nature. Why? It is the religion of who created them. And the laws of Islam match your nature. And subhanAllah, you go to psychology, people who are sick or have psychological diseases, that's because their self is sitting so much against their nature is punishing them for that by giving them that conflict of psychological disease. When they get Islam, it's comfort, it's tranquility. So shaitan would come to us, you know what? These people would look at me like I'm a weirdo. These people would look at me like I'm trying to impose something upon them. I better just to save my job, or they might fire me, or this and that. Then I better look like them, act like them, and not mention anything about Islam. Especially now they say Islam terrorist this and terrorist that, and so on and so forth. The biggest mistake you could possibly do. Prophet Muhammad said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide a man with you, خَيْرٌ مِّنْ حُمْرِ النَّعَمِ. Imagine that you had all the money in the world to give for charity, what kind of reward you get? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you, for one man to be guided by you to the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is better than the best worldly positions at the time, which is the most expensive kind of camels, the Rolls Royces of their time. And think about it, again, we go back to the example of the Indonesians. One man accepts Islam. What would happen? He would marry a Muslim sister. He would have Muslim children. Each one of them, when they bow to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you do a righteous deed that you caused, you were the guidance for it through the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the beginning, you would get a similar reward. And it would be in the book of your good deeds. And it is almost a sadaqah jariyah upon yourself that you brought this branch of righteousness, an entire lineage of righteousness of Muslims because of something that he did for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Shaitan will make it difficult. Wallahi, it's so easy. SubhanAllah, Fox News, they have one anchor there, he's very well known, he's a hero of Islam and hero of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide him. You don't know how people will wind up. Sean Hannity. Sean Hannity was so shocked. He had to have a segment on Fox News. Why? One of the most well-known entertainers in the history of American culture and media, that is Bill Cosby, that shocked everyone. What was it? And I'm paraphrasing. Bill Cosby stood up and said, and I quote, "I am a Christian. But wouldn't the world be a better world if we all became Muslim?" SubhanAllah, people were shocked. He said, everywhere I look, and I give you an example of these Muslims, They're so misunderstood, and I would say they are intentionally misunderstood. But when I look at them, black Muslims, for example, I never seen anyone who care for their kids and teaching their kids the right thing to do like black Muslims. I didn't see anyone that is so clean in behavior, not drinking, not smoking, not indulging in all these kind of sins, and have so much respect for their wives and command respect for themselves and their families like Muslims. Why don't we all become Muslims? It almost drove him crazy. But then the point that I want to make here, not only the great words that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put in the mouth of such an influential man, and this would go, subhanAllah, so far, and that's why they had to bring someone to attack Islam to try to damage the effect of it. But think about it. I did not go and said to Bill Cosby, hey, I'm a scholar, let me teach you about Islam, and change his mind, and he went to say that. No Muslims knocked on Bill Cosby's door like Jehovah's Witnesses and said, you know what, you want to occupy your house for a whole day to convince you that Islam is great. No. Bill Cosby observed the behavior and the manners of black Muslims himself. And his brothers like me and you who are just going about their Islamic manners, wearing, most importantly, their Islamic attire, declaring to the world, this is the beard of a Muslim, this is the look of a Muslim, that's why my manners are the manners of a Muslim, without even knowing that Bill Cosby is watching. They changed the mind of a man like an army of scholars and PhD professors could not do. We have similar opportunities every single day. And some of these opportunities could be, I'm sure there's one brother or one incident that was the last incident that Bill Cosby have seen and changed him and forced him to say this to the world. That brother, wallahi, would get so much reward of whatever new enlightenment that people got through the words of such an influential man. When I go to work, I need to show my Muslim attire. I need to show my Muslim manners. I need to watch everything that I do. And subhanAllah, it's not a coincidence that the athar, a lot of people think that this is a hadith, but it's not a hadith. It's an athar, subhanAllah, it summarizes our deen. Ad-deenu, what? Al-mu'amala. Our religion is how to treat people. So I make sure that when I deal with everyone, I'm trustworthy. I do not lie, I do not cheat, I do not backbite. I'm courteous, I help people. More importantly, the way I look at these people has to be absolutely correct for me to have the proper result. What is that? A lot of people out of the himya for the deen and righteousness and staying away from the sin, they look at the sinners among non-Muslims as if they are their enemies. And if they are to be avoided like the plague. And forget that the best companions of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ were infidels and mushrikeen and subhanAllah atheists. Imagine if the early first companions or the best people that walked the earth abandoned them. No, they dealt with them with their manners. They withstood whatever harsh treatment and worse treatment that they were getting from them, and through their resilience, they changed them and made them, subhanAllah, other group of the best companions that ever walked the earth. We need to understand the charitable part of our da'wah. What does that mean? When I give charity from my money, what do I do? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed me with some money. I have abundance of it. And in a way to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and purify myself, I take a part of that blessing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given me and give it to people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decided at the time that they're poor and they don't have as much money as I have. The biggest blessing, the best benefit, the best favor that you ever had in your entire life, that you are a Muslim. There's nothing like it. But these people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decided that at that time they're not Muslim. They didn't give the benefit and the blessing that he had. When I invite them to Islam, when I look at them as someone who's in need, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed me with something that he needs, even though he does not know how badly he needs it, and how much it will save him from hellfire, I need to have that kindness and look at them at that way, that they need my help, even though they do not know it. And imagine, subhanAllah, if a prostitute of the sons of Israel, a prostitute, one who commits an abomination for a living, would be walking and sees a dog that is eating the mud on the head of a well because it's so thirsty it's about to die. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will strike mercy in her heart that she would dabble her shoe in the well and get some water and let that dog drink and save the dog's life. A harsh desert stray dog. What, subhanallah, reward would I get if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put her into Jannah and forgave her with a human being? وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. Bani Adam is everyone. وَحَمَلْنَاهُمْ فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ. We carried him on the land and the sea. وَرَزَقْنَاهُمْ مِنَ الطَّيِّبَاتِ. And we gave him from our blessings. وَفَضَّلْنَاهُمْ عَلَى كَثِيرٍ مِمَّا خَلَقْنَا تَفْضِيلًا. And we preferred him over so many of our creatures. Imagine if it's a human being in the price of his life, not just a simple food or a meal. The prices that would make his eternity in Jannah or in hellfire. Would I need to show some mercy and do some dawah, some kindness and some courtesy to them? Yes, absolutely I need to do that. So not only I'm following the essence of my deen, that is the manners of Prophet Muhammad وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. When, subhanAllah, it's an obligation to, before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, be trustworthy and I will be honest and I will be working and subhanAllah I fulfill my pledges. Allah يحب إذا عمل أحدكم عملا أن يتقنه. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves that anyone of you, if he does something to perfect it. And as a matter of fact, the word technology that is so fascinated with comes directly from the Arabic verb taqana, min al-itqan. That's where it came from. So by nature, being a Muslim, that is my deen. But when I do it with the mindset that I'm helping people, I'm showing courtesy to people, and I be resilient with people, subhanAllah, it will go so far in giving you tremendous reward that you cannot possibly imagine you can get. If I'm a Muslim, where I came from in Egypt, where it's predominantly Egyptians, you do not have that opportunity. Everyone around you is already blessed with this land, whether they follow or not, but they know La ilaha illallah. Here, it's a tremendous opportunity. Wallahi, we are facing the potential reward of the early companions. Because they were great Muslims in themselves, but the effect that they had upon the world, they changed the world around them. They made it a Muslim world, they made it a just world, they made it a fair world, they made it a higher living standard world. They made it a world of compassion and mercy. And we have this opportunity, and wallahi, America needs Islam so bad that Americans themselves do not know it. And they are waking up to that, and the beginning was with Bill Cosby. Be kind, be patient, be honest, be courteous, be supportive, and wallahi, whoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chooses to be Islam, be a Muslim, they would come to you and they would ask you, and then you don't have to be a scholar. Many people, wallahi, got their reward. They come to me and say, Shaykh, we have this situation, they're looking into Islam, and they bring them to my class, and sometimes we work with them for a month, sometimes 2 months, sometimes a couple of weeks, and they accept Islam. And you think that I will get the reward. I would hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would accept it for me and give me the reward. But the one who sent them to me will get exactly the same reward that I hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give me. You have that tremendous opportunity. And it's enough when you stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that an entire human being and his lineage, his children and his children of children, till the day of judgment would stand there and would testify that because of that man we became Muslim and we said Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Wallahi, enough for it. So inshallah, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alhamdulillah ala ni'mat al-Islam. Alhamdulillah ala al-Islam wa kafa biha ni'mah. Inshallah, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the blessing that we have. And before I go, I want to remind you, if we're that careful about people outside, we need to care more about our own children. How about if we do da'wah to our own children? Teach them the Quran. Teach them deen. Teach them the manners. Take 5 minutes with your children every day and talk to them about their deen, given from your personal experience. These are the people that you're responsible before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give da'wah for, before you are responsible for people outside, inshallah. جزاكم الله خيرا. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل وسلم في القدس إلى الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر والآخرة دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين. جزاكم الله. الله أكبر. الله أكبر.